are going to talk about market structure. Different industries, different sectors of economy have different structure. Some industries are, dominated by few players or a single player, and some other industries are flooded with a lot of, with a myriad of players. So, depending on the structure of different industries, the performance of different industry may differ from each other. If a firm is a monopoly firm, the industry is, has only one player. In that case, the firm will earn abnormal profit, and it will be very difficult for other firms to enter. So in next classes, we will talk about these different market structures that are possible, and how we can differentiate on the basis of the characteristics of different industries and sectors. So uh, we can view at this market structure problem or market structure topic uh, from the point of view of SCP, where S is for structure, C is for conduct, and P is for performance. So structure, the way an industry is structured will affect the conduct of a firm, and the conduct of the firm will impact the performance of that firm. So performance in terms of profit, performance in terms of efficiency, and prices. So prices, profits, and efficiency, these are the measures of performance. So performance of a company is impacted by the conduct of the firm, and the conduct of the firm is impacted by the structure. So this is how we can think about the market structure. That market structure is relevant. Why it is relevant? Because it impacts the conduct of the firm, which in turn impacts the performance of the firm. So on the basis of the nature of the firm and structure of the market, the profitability of a firm is getting impacted. So if a firm is operating in a perfect competition, the firm will not be able to earn extra normal profit, or it will just earn some basic profit. So why it is not able to earn a good amount of profit? Because it is operating in a perfect competition. So basically the market structure is impacting the performance of the firm. So that is why the study of market structure is important, because it impacts the conduct of the behavior of the company, as well as the performance of the company. So this is how market structure is related with the performance of the company or performance of the firm. And this this view is called SCP. Structure impacts conduct of firm, behavior of firm, which in turn impacts the performance of the firm. Performance in terms of prices, profits, and efficiency. So broadly speaking, these are four categories of market structure. The first one is perfect competition. Then we have monopolistic competition. Then we have oligopoly, and at the right hand you can see monopoly. So basically this is a continuum. On one end we have monopoly, and on the other extreme we have perfect competition. And in between monopoly and perfect competition, we have two more in between stock market structure. that have some features of perfect competition or some features of monopoly. So if this is a continuum, on this end we have monopoly, and on this end we have perfect competition. Perfect competition. So, and in between we have two more market structure, that is monopolistic competition and oligopoly. And these market structures can be differentiated from each other on the basis of several characteristics. For example, the first characteristic is number of firms. How many firms are operating in a particular industry? So in a perfect competition, the number of firms operating in a perfect competition is very large. I mean, large number of firms operate in a perfect competition. In a monopolistic competition, the number of firms can again be can be many a large number of firms may be operating in a monopolistic competition. In an oligopoly market, number of operators, number of firms, number of companies are few. Few means we can count on fingers. It may be 4, 5, 6, or 8, 9, 10, like that. So such markets are known as oligopoly. In oligopoly market, there are few number of firms or few number of players or companies. Now coming to the last extreme situation, that is monopoly. In a monopoly market, the number of player, number of seller is only one. So that is why the industry and company is same thing, because the industry has only one player. So we can say that I mean, both are same, industry and the company and the firm are both are same, because there is only one player, that only one seller. So one of the characteristic of the market on the basis of which we can differentiate between perfect competition, monopolistic competition, oligopoly, and monopoly is number of firms. So in monopoly, the number of firm is only one. In perfect competition, the number of player, the number of firm is very large. It is written here many, but you can also replace it with large. Large. So then the other characteristic on the basis of which we can differentiate between these market structures is type of the product. What kind of product are being sold in that market? So in perfect competition, the type of the product that is sold is identical. Identical means the product that is sold by firm A cannot be differentiated, cannot be identified um, from the product that is sold by firm B. So every firm that is producing some product uh, are identical to each other, and it is not differentiated. There is no label, there is no branding, there is no labeling, there is no differentiated packaging or differentiated uh, size of the packet or etc. So this feature is called identical products. In perfect competition, the products are identical. So it is immaterial which manufacturer uh, or which seller is selling that product, because every seller um, has same product or identical product, which cannot be differentiated on the basis of the manufacturer. But if we talk about monopolistic competition, although the number of a lot of manufacturers and sellers are there in this industry that is monopolistic, but every seller tries to differentiate its product from the rest of the market through either through marketing or through product differentiation. Sometimes the differentiation is real in the product itself, and sometimes the differentiation is only psychological, only in the minds of the consumers, and that is created through marketing campaigns. So in monopolistic competition, there are products which can be differentiated from each other. Say, for example, if we talk about refrigerator market, or air conditions. So there are 10-12 manufacturers which are selling or marketing um, uh, air condition and fridge. So but each of the seller tries to differentiate its product through marketing and through some real features. Um, so that can be termed as an example of monopolistic competition. And then there are restaurants. Each restaurant has its own list of menu, uh, but every restaurant tries to differentiate its offerings from the rest of the restaurants. And So there are chains, for example, McDonald or CCD, or maybe there are other. So every restaurant chain tries to differentiate its offerings from the rest of the market. So that can be an example of monopolistic competition. Then we have oligopoly market. In oligopoly market, the product can be differentiated or identical. Sometimes the oligopolies differentiate their product from their competitors, and sometimes they do not differentiate their products from the rest of the market. So say, for example, in India, we have oil marketing companies, say, for example, Bharat Petroleum, Indian Oil, maybe Reliance, and there are some, few players in the oil marketing. So normally oil that is sold by Bharat Petroleum or Indian Petroleum or Hindustan Petroleum, it's all identical. They are not differentiated from each other. It's identical, but sometimes they differentiate also. So if we talk about automobiles, or if we talk about laptop market, so laptops are, there are few manufacturers of laptop, and every laptop manufacturer or computer manufacturer tries to differentiate its product from the rest of the market. So we have Dell, we have Lenovo, we have HP. Then we have some new players like Realme and Infinix and Xiaomi. Then we have Apple also. So these are some of the laptop and computer manufacturers. All of them try to differentiate their products from the rest. So in oligopoly market where there are few players, sometimes they may go for differentiation and sometimes they may not go for differentiation. Just I have given you example of oil marketing companies. Oil marketing companies don't differentiate their product, because what they can do in oil, there's nothing to differentiate. But as far as computer manufacturers and automobile companies, for example, we have Maruti in India, then we have Mahindra, and then we have Tata Motors, and then we have some foreign companies also, which are selling their cars in India, automobiles in India. All of them try to differentiate their products from the rest of the market. So there is differentiation. Then we have monopoly on the right extreme. In monopoly market, we have only one player. There is only one seller, and that seller sells actually a unique product. Unique means it is sold by that firm only. It is not available at other places, other sellers. So the product that is being sold by that monopolist is unique. And the example is electricity. Say, for example, electricity. So in a particular area, most of the times the electricity market is dominated by few players. Normally it is dominated by the government, So on electricity market, electricity is is a monopoly market. And similarly, gas connections. This is also a monopoly market. There are about a specific area, a specific state, a specific city. Say, for example, in Delhi, we have Indraprastha Gas, Indraprastha Gas Limited. So Indraprastha Gas Limited has monopoly in Delhi and NCR region. If we talk about Mumbai, then in Mumbai we have Mahanagar Gas Limited, Mahanagar Gas Limited, MGL. So area wise also we can talk about area wise that in this particular state or in this particular city, this company has monopoly, and that there can be many reasons why certain monopolies operate. In this case, the reason for monopoly is regulatory, because of the government restriction, because of the licensing. Similarly, railway services is another example of monopoly. Okay. One more characteristic on the basis of which we can differentiate these market structure is ease of entry. How easy it is for a new firm to enter into that market. So in a perfect competition, any new player can enter at any time. There is no restriction on the entry as far as perfect market is concerned. Similarly, in monopolistic competition also, uh, the barrier to entry is not there. There is no barrier as far as entry of new player is concerned. Any new player can enter into a monopolistic competition, can produce his own product, can market his own product at any given point of time. So there is no restriction in the monopolistic competition also. But if we talk about oligopoly market is a market in which there are few players. So the entry in that market is very difficult, very difficult. So say, for example, if I give you an example of Indian telecom industry, there are only three players right now. Airtel, we have Airtel, we have Jio, and then we have Vodafone. Only three players are left in this market. For a fourth player to enter into this market, uh, it will be very difficult because of the concept of cartel. Cartel. Although in legal terms, becoming a cartel is illegal, but sometimes it happens because of tacit agreement. There is no explicit agreement between these firms, but they join together and keep any other players out of the business. So entry into an oligopoly market is very difficult. And if we talk about monopoly, then in monopoly, entry of new player is blocked. I mean, it's not possible. It's not possible for a new player to enter into a monopoly market because uh, uh, because uh, uh, because of some legal restriction, or maybe some natural barrier itself. For example, the scale of operation is very large. The amount of investment required to start that business is very big. So the entry in a monopoly market is blocked. No new player can enter into that market. It's almost blocked. So that is why the monopolist is surviving, because new players are not allowed in that market.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, I'm unable to understand why electricity is considered as a monopoly over here.
Say, for example, in any particular city, if there is a private player that wants to supply or market electricity to the population, that private player will not be allowed, because by law, and we have electricity boards in every state, and that electricity board decides in which area which electricity marketer will go. So it's a monopoly market, and the government is the monopolist.
But we have Reliance Electricity, Jayaprakash Power, Adani Power is also there, sir.
Electricity, that is why I'm talking about specific areas. It's not that say for example we are in Aligarh, and in Delhi the electricity is supplied by BSES, say for example, and the electricity that is supplied by BSES is cheaper than the electricity that is being supplied in Aligarh by Uttar Pradesh Power Corporation Limited, UPPCL. But I can't, become customer of BSES, because in Aligarh, UPPCL is the monopolist, and private players are not allowed. Any other player is not allowed. So we can specify the monopoly in terms of area also. Area also. Because in every region, in every area, there are, monopolists as far as the electricity marketer is concerned.
So if
That
we
is why it
consider,
can be.
so if we
Yes.
consider the case of Maharashtra, I mean there are more than 2 to 3 Adani Power, Reliance Power, Tata Power, Torrent, all they are available, sir, right there. Railways can be considered as a monopoly because it is nationalized. So can we categorize monopoly in terms of state-wise and nationalized one?
Railway, what are you saying? Railway can be considered as monopoly.
Yes, sir, because it is nationalized, na. Only there is one player. Indian government is there, IRCTC. So this is monopoly, in my opinion,
Yes,
sir.
railway is monopoly. So
So, but in case of electricity, there are more than one player. I mean, there are private retailers also, private partners
that is
also.
what I'm making the point, that monopoly can be specified geographically also. Geographically also, that say for example, if gas connection for a gas supplier in Ahmedabad city is only by Adani Gas, or say for example uh, in Noida, if a new apartment is being built, the piped connection of gas is being supplied by Indraprastha Gas. So Indraprastha Gas has monopoly over NCR region as far as the supply of gas through piped connection is concerned. So it's not that we are talking about the whole India, or so we can specify the monopoly in specific regions also. There. So that is how we can consider electricity and gas as monopoly, business.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir. Right, sir. Thank you.
Perfectly competitive market, a market that meets the conditions of many buyers and sellers, all firms selling identical products, no barrier to new firms entering the market. A perfectly competitive firm cannot affect the market price taker, a buyer or seller that is unable to affect the market price. So in a perfectly competitive market, uh, a single firm is price taker. Price taker. Price taker means it cannot affect the prices. Whatever price has been fixed by the market, if we are entering into a perfectly competitive market, we don't have any option as far as pricing is concerned. We have to sell at the price that is prevailing in the market. So in a perfectly competitive market, a single firm is price taker. And how prices are fixed? Prices are fixed by the forces of demand and supply in the market. And as far as a single firm is concerned, a single firm is immaterial. It cannot impact, it cannot affect the prices, because in a perfectly competitive market, the number of seller is very large and buyers are also very large. Both interact with each other and a price is fixed. So a single firm does not have any pricing power. The word is pricing power. Pricing power. So in a perfectly competitive market, firms do not have any pricing power. So if we say, for example, if we talk about agricultural products, agriculture is an example of perfect competition, uh, because a lot of number of the number of farmer is very large, and every farmer is producing and selling in the market, but they don't have pricing power. They cannot sell at the price at which they wish to sell, because the prices are fixed by the market forces of demand and in supply. And a single farmer cannot impact the prices. But if we talk about some monopoly market, say for example telecom, say for example, so Jio, Airtel, all these companies can increase the tariff at any given point of time, and they are they are increasing the tariffs, uh, so they can change the prices because they are monopolists. They are monopolists. They may be oligopoly market, because there are only three players, and they have pricing power. Pricing power means they can decide on the prices. But as far as the perfect competition market is concerned, they don't have pricing power. Whatever price is given in the market, they have to manufacture that product, produce that product at a cost which is less than the price, so that they become profitable, and they have to sell at the, so price is given for them. So this is a demand curve for the output of a perfectly competitive firm, which is a straight line. So if the price per bushel is $4, so a single farmer will face this demand curve, which is a straight line. A straight line means at $4 per bushel, if he produces 3,000 bushels or 3,000 quintals of wheat, he can sell that. Similarly, if he produces 7,500 bushels, he can again sell at the same price. So at a given price, at a given demand, at a given price, a single farmer or a single producer can sell any amount of product, any amount of quantity, theoretically, because the prices are given, and for a single firm it is given, and a single firm can produce whatever quantity he can produce and can sell at the given price. So the demand curve for a single firm is a straight line which is parallel to the x-axis. So this line is actually parallel to the x-axis. This is x-axis. So the demand curve will be parallel to the x-axis. Okay, so let me change. So that how this price of $4 per bushel has been fixed. This has been fixed by the forces of demand and supply. This red line is the supply of the wheat, and this blue line is the demand for wheat at different prices. And the interaction, the point where they interact with each other is called the equilibrium. This point is the equilibrium, and this point of equilibrium, at this point the price is $4. So this $4 price has been fixed by the interaction of demand and supply. And at the demand curve at the right hand side, this one, say for example there is a farmer whose name is Parker. So for this farmer, this $4 is already given. So farmer Parker is a price taker. The farmer, a single farmer, is a price taker. This farmer cannot sell at $5 per bushel. So this $4 per bushel has been fixed by the intersection or the interaction of the market supply and demand that determines the price of the wheat. And after the prices are determined by the market forces, for a single farmer, a single farmer cannot impact the prices, and he must accept the prices that has been fixed by the market forces. So the demand curve for farmer Parker will be a straight line like this. Now the next thing that the next point that I want to discuss with you is if a firm is operating in a perfectly competitive market, how it can maximize its revenue. Because maximization of revenue, maximization of profit is the objective or the aim for which most of the organizations and firms exist. So if a firm is operating in a perfectly competitive market, how it can maximize its profit. So these are some of the basics that we already know, that profit is equal to total revenue minus total cost. Profit is nothing but the difference between revenue and cost. Revenue means the money that is coming inside because of sales. So normally revenue and sales are used synonymously, interchangeably. So revenue means sales minus cost. So whatever cost is there, if we subtract that cost from the amount of sales that we have generated, that will give us the profit, the figure of profit. So profit is total revenue minus total cost. Revenue for a firm in a perfectly competitive market is average revenue, total revenue divided by the quantity of the product sold. So if we divide total revenue divided by the quantity of the product sold, that will give us the figure of average revenue. Similarly, marginal revenue is the change in total revenue from selling one more unit of a product. So this concept of marginal revenue, this is the concept of marginal revenue. Marginal revenue is the change in total revenue resulting from selling one additional unit of product. So formula wise, we can write it like this: MR is equal to change in total revenue divided by change in quantity. This is a table showing the demand curve for a single farmer. So in the first column we have bushels, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 up to 10. Then we have market price. So market price is $4, which is fixed and it is not changing. It is not changing depending on the number of bushels that the farmer is able to sell, because as we talked about initially, that that in a perfectly competitive market, a single farmer is a price taker, not price giver. It's a price taker. So the price is already given in the second column, that is 4, and he cannot sell, he cannot change this price. Then we have total revenue column. Total revenue is the multiplication of the first and second column. So if we multiply the first column by second column, that will give us the figure of total revenue. If we divide total revenue by the number of bushel, that will give us average revenue. That is again 444. And the last column is for marginal revenue. Marginal revenue is nothing but the change in total revenue. So change here is 4444. So the change again is constant, $4. So the profit maximizing level of output is also where marginal revenue equals marginal cost. So this is the crux that in a perfectly competitive market, for a firm, that point is optimal. That point will generate the maximum profit. The point where MR is equal to MC, where MR is marginal revenue and MC is marginal cost. That point is the profit maximization point for a single firm. So graphically, that point can be shown like this. This is the demand curve, that is a straight line. This demand curve is also marginal revenue, because in the table we have seen that MR and AR both are same, $4, $4, $4, $4. Then we have demand curve. So demand curve and marginal revenue both are same thing. So that is given, and that is also price, because price is also $4. So these are this is price also, this is demand also. We can call it demand also, and we can call it marginal revenue. So this is given, and this is marginal cost curve. So the point where marginal cost curve cuts marginal revenue curve, that point is the point of maximum profit. So this is that point. Look at here. This is the point where marginal cost curve is cutting marginal revenue curve. Marginal revenue curve is not actually curve, it's a line here. So marginal cost curve is cutting marginal revenue at this point. So this is the point where the firm will make maximum profit. And if the average cost is less than this point, then the firm will make a profit. And if the average cost is more than this, in that case, the firm will make loss. So in this example, the average cost is less than marginal revenue. So marginal revenue is this point, the point where marginal cost is cutting marginal revenue, and the average cost is less. Average cost is here. At this level of production, average cost is this. So the difference between average cost and price is the profit. So what is profit? Profit is nothing but the difference between price and average cost. So price is $4, but average cost is less than $4. It may be 3.8 or 3.7 or whatever it is. So the difference between price and average cost is the profit. And this area, if we prepare a triangle, this area can be called profit. This is profit region, because in this region the price is more and average cost is less, and the difference between price and average cost is called profit. And if we talk about total profit is nothing but average profit multiplied by quantity. So price per unit minus average cost per unit, that will give us profit per unit. If we multiply profit per unit by quantity, that will give us total profit. So this is what happens in a perfectly competitive market, that in a perfectly competitive market, the prices are given. This P is given. This line or MR or demand curve is already given. The firm decides on marginal cost. So if the point where marginal cost cuts MR curve or the price or the demand curve, that point is the point of maximum profit. And if the average total cost or average cost is less than this point, in that case, the firm will make a profit. This is profit. Because profit is nothing but the difference between price and cost. Price minus average cost. This is price, this point is price, and this point is average total cost. So average total cost is less than the price. So that is why it is the firm is experiencing a profit, generating profit. And if we multiply the average profit per unit by Q, that will give us the figure of total profit. Similarly, if the average total cost curve is cutting MR curve at the same point, then in that case the firm will not is not making any profit. So in this is example of break even. The firm is neither making profit nor making any loss, because MR is equal to MC, and at the same point we have average cost also. So if P minus average cost is equal to 0, P minus average cost is equal to 0. 0 means there is no profit. There is no profit. So the firm is just breaking even. And in this example that is on the right hand, the firm is making a loss, because the average cost of production is more than the price. The price is given in the market. The price is this. But the average cost curve, that is this, is above the price. So means price is less and cost of production or average cost per unit is more. So the firm will incur losses. The firm will make losses. So this is example of break even, and this is example of a firm which is making losses. So this is what happens in a perfectly competitive market. So in a perfectly competitive market, if a firm is able to manufacture products at a cost which is less than the price that is given in the market, in that case the firm will make a profit. And if the average cost of production is more than the price that is given in the market, in that case the firm will make a loss. And if the price is given and the firm is producing at the same price, the price and cost is equal, in that case the firm will just break even. It will neither make profit and it will nor make any loss or profit. So so we will continue talking about this topic, and that is the profit maximization level for a firm in a perfectly competitive market. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.